Hey folks, H2 reporting back on the F3 channel. Hey, got a question for you. And I want to know, how's the job market going for you? And the reason I thought of that question is I was doing some reading and they were talking about, pre-recession, how things were economically pre-recession, and then when we had the mortgage meltdown, which basically took us into a recession, that the both income and borrowing levels went down. And so if you remember back in that time, that between 2008 till, I don't know, maybe 2013 or 14 or so, job market was in the tank, and a number of corporations and companies, had to massively lay off people in order to, keep afloat. And so I just thought about, hey, here we are now with, I don't know if it's record low employment, but the numbers are pretty low. But the statistic here is that even though employment is back up, incomes are still suffering. Now, I don't know what to make of that, other than there's a whole lot of jobs being created, but they're not paying the kind of salaries that they used to. And there's a number of reasons why that is, and I'll have to make a different video to talk about that. But I got 3 thoughts here about the job market and how it's affecting you, and I wanted to offer that up to you. So the first point I want to make is, are you the best qualified for the job? So, if you're out there looking for a job and you looked at the job requirements and you meet those requirements and you don't get hired, you're probably thinking to yourself, why is that? Well, the reason why is you're not best qualified. And so there's a number of things you have to do in order to be the best candidate that's applying for the job. So, now in America, there's so many with college degrees, just about every employer can now require that as a criteria. And so for those out there that may not have a college degree, don't despair, because according to my research and my studies, there are more millionaires in America without a college degree than millionaires with a college degree. Now, go figure. There is a inverse relationship with between education and wealth. It appears that the more education you have, the less likely you are to accumulate wealth. And that's a whole different story I'll have to tell you about later. So, but anyway, my first point is, are you the best qualified? And so when you look at the requirements of a job, are you the most qualified? And so you may have to do something to go above and beyond the listed qualifications. Okay. The second point I want to make here is, are you within the demographics that fit the profile of the job candidate? And what I mean by that is, hey, there are companies out there, they are looking for specific people to do specific things, and they develop a profile of a person that's most likely to fit the bill. Now, you might think to yourself, hey, that's discrimination. That ain't right. Well, that might be true, but in this capitalist society, employers do that all the time. And so what made me think about that was, many years ago, I was working as a field engineer for IBM, and I got to interface with marketing reps. And so looking at the marketing rep, what they were doing and what they were making opposed to what I was doing and what I was making, there was a big disparity. So I thought to myself, I need to jump on this marketing, go over to the marketing department. Well, I didn't fit the bill for that. When I looked at the group I was in Chicago and for some training, and there was a class of marketing reps that were there as well. And when I looked at those candidates or those brand new minted marketing reps, the light came on. And the reason why was they all had a certain look. They all had a certain height. They were actually pretty. I gotta admit, girls, boys, they were all good looking, and there's a reason why. If you're the face of the company, you probably want to look the very best. So a company will put the best face forward. So my point is, do you have the demographics of the candidate? So if you know that, the company typically hires a young, good looking person, and you're old and maybe not so good looking, you're probably not going to get that job. And it's not necessarily, a ding against the employer because the employer is trying to make money. So all I'm telling you is, as you're searching for a job, make sure you fit the demographics that the company has already deemed desirable as for the profile of that candidate. And then the last point I want to make on this subject is, where you are in terms of locality, does that meet the skill set? And what I mean by that is, you might have mad skills in one area, but there's no jobs in the area where you are, which means you're going to have to do one or two things. You're going to either have to develop new skills that are in your current market and locality, or you're going to have to relocate to wherever your skills are in high demand. All right. Hey, so that's my thoughts on the question of the job market. It's tough out there. And, we just got to be smart about how we approach the job market. Okay. Hey, H2 going to sign off. You have a great day.